It was Christmas night in Boulder, Colorado. Lights sparkled, gifts sat under the tree, and a 6-year-old pageant queen would never wake up again. A chilling ransom note, a discovery in the basement, and a tangled web of theories still haunting America nearly 3 decades later. But now, advanced DNA analysis may be closer than ever to revealing the truth. This is the unsolved case of JonBenet Ramsey, and what could finally break it wide open. Nestled against the snow-covered Flatirons, Boulder, Colorado was a peaceful college town known more for its outdoor beauty than criminal headlines. The Ramsey family, well-off and well-known, seemed to have it all. A successful father, a socialite mother, and 2 bright children, 9-year-old Burke and 6-year-old JonBenet, a child beauty queen who had already won several pageants. But in the early hours of December 26, 1996, the illusion of safety in this affluent neighborhood shattered. Just after 5:30 a.m., Patsy Ramsey awoke and walked downstairs. There on the staircase, she discovered a handwritten ransom note claiming her daughter had been kidnapped. It was oddly specific, demanding $118,000 in exchange for JonBenet's safe return. That number was almost identical to her husband John's recent work bonus. The note warned the family not to call the police, but Patsy did, immediately. Within minutes, the house was buzzing with officers, friends, and neighbors. But what started as a kidnapping quickly took a tragic turn. After several hours of fruitless searching, John Ramsey was instructed to search the house once more. At approximately 1 p.m., he opened the door to the basement wine cellar and found JonBenet's lifeless body, partially covered by a blanket, with a nylon cord tied tightly around her neck and wrists. Her mouth was duct-taped. A broken paintbrush had been used to construct the makeshift garrote. JonBenet was dead, murdered in her own home. The ransom note is unlike anything seen in typical kidnappings. It was 2.5 pages long, written with a pen and pad from inside the house. Investigators later found a practice draft in the same notepad. The note's phrasing was strange and melodramatic. "We are a small, foreign faction. If we catch you talking to a stray dog, she dies. Victory, SBTC." It referenced action movies like Speed and Dirty Harry and read more like a screenplay than a ransom demand. The tone, length, and references puzzled experts. Was it a red herring, a panic cover-up, or an elaborate message from a sadistic killer? Handwriting experts were brought in. Patsy's writing was inconclusive. John's was ruled out. Still, no definitive match was made. From the very beginning, the investigation was marred by critical missteps. The home was not properly sealed off. Dozens of friends and family members were allowed to walk through the house. The body was moved by John Ramsey before police could secure the area. Evidence was compromised. Footprints were missed. Fibers and possible DNA may have been lost forever. Even the autopsy raised questions. JonBenet suffered a blow to the head, strong enough to fracture her skull, yet she was also strangled. The sequence of events was unclear. Did someone try to stage the scene? The investigation quickly split into 2 factions: those who believed it was an inside job and those who suspected an intruder. From day one, the Ramseys were viewed with suspicion. Their media appearances were tightly controlled. They hired high-powered attorneys and declined to speak with police for months. Critics asked, why did Patsy allegedly wear the same clothes 2 days in a row? Why didn't the Ramseys check on their children before calling 911? Why was John told to search the house himself? And how did he walk directly to JonBenet's body? Tabloids ran wild with speculation. Rumors of parental rage, sexual abuse, and even satanic cults flooded the media. The Ramseys maintained their innocence, stating, "We did not kill our daughter. I don't know how to be any more clear." They claimed an intruder had broken in, written the note, murdered JonBenet, and escaped undetected. Still, no fingerprints were found on the ransom note, no signs of forced entry, no clear evidence of an outsider. JonBenet's older brother Burke was just 9 at the time. He was interviewed multiple times, first by child psychologists, then police. Years later, in a 2016 Dr. Phil interview, Burke appeared smiling and awkward. Viewers speculated whether he was hiding something. One popular theory suggested Burke may have accidentally hurt JonBenet, striking her with a flashlight in a moment of sibling anger. Fearing the consequences, the parents may have staged the crime to look like a kidnapping. But there was no forensic evidence tying Burke to the scene, and his DNA was never found on the body. Still, the theory persists online, fueled by speculation more than fact. Some investigators insisted that an outsider was responsible. They pointed to a broken window in the basement, a suitcase positioned beneath it, possibly used to climb in or out. An unknown boot print was found near JonBenet's body. Unidentified male DNA on JonBenet's clothing. Several suspects were investigated. A neighborhood sex offender, a former housekeeper, a schoolteacher who falsely confessed to the murder. But each lead fizzled out. No arrests were made. The DNA didn't match any profiles in the national database. And the longer time passed, the colder the case became. In 2022, over 25 years later, the Boulder police confirmed they were partnering with advanced DNA labs to retest evidence using touch DNA and genetic genealogy, techniques that had already helped solve the Golden State Killer and dozens of cold cases. These methods analyze minute traces of skin cells left on fabric, then cross-reference them against public genealogy databases to find potential family matches. For JonBenet's case, experts re-examined DNA found on her long johns and underwear. Previous tests had shown a partial profile, but it wasn't enough for prosecution. The hope now is that with modern sequencing tools and access to genealogy data, investigators may trace the unknown male DNA to a relative and eventually to a suspect. Although no official breakthrough has been announced, sources within the forensic community claim the Ramsey case is one of the top priorities in cold case testing. Criminal profilers have long debated the killer's identity and motive. Some suggest a staging killer, someone trying to confuse the scene and mislead investigators. The ransom note, the garrote, the placement of the body, all suggest a level of planning and control. Others point to rage or panic. The fractured skull, followed by strangulation, may indicate the killer was unsure how to cover up the initial injury. If it were apparent, analysts say, the motive might involve shame, fear, or desperation. If it were an outsider, the motive could be sexual gratification or thrill. The conflicting methods, blunt force and strangulation, suggest a deeply disturbed individual, someone capable of unspeakable violence, but calculating enough to leave misleading clues. Renowned forensic pathologist Dr. Michael Baden believes the evidence points away from the parents, citing the DNA and injuries as inconsistent with parental rage. Conversely, retired FBI profiler Jim Clemente has argued the scene shows signs of staging, making it more likely to have been done by someone inside the house. Documentaries, podcasts, and books have all tried to dissect the case, but none have provided definitive proof. The only universal agreement: JonBenet did not deserve this, and her killer has never been brought to justice. As of 2025, the JonBenet Ramsey case remains open and active. Over 1,000 people have been interviewed. More than 2,000 pieces of evidence have been logged. New DNA labs have been recruited, and the Boulder police claim to be more hopeful now than in decades past. The Ramsey family, though plagued by accusations for years, continues to advocate for DNA testing and transparency. They believe the truth is out there, and that science will eventually clear their names. JonBenet Patricia Ramsey would have turned 34 this year. Her image, wide-eyed, crowned, and smiling, remains frozen in time, an eerie symbol of a case that shocked a nation and shattered a family. The questions still haunt us. Who wrote the note? Who staged the scene? And why has no one been held accountable? With new technology and renewed pressure, maybe, just maybe, we're one step closer to an answer. Do you think the Ramseys were involved, or was this the work of a deranged outsider? And could today's forensic tools finally bring justice to JonBenet Ramsey's case? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Subscribe for more gripping true crime breakdowns, mysteries, and criminal psychology stories, only on Twisted Case.